I'm here with Senay Ataselim, the Executive Director of Turkish Philanthropy Funds. Senay, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here. And I want to thank Charity Navigator for all the work that you do to bring awareness around the earthquake in Turkey.
Well, really appreciate all the work that you're doing to provide relief and recovery to people that really need it. And I'm sure you and the team are incredibly busy responding to the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that devastated Turkey and Syria just a little bit more than a week ago. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the organization, Senay, I'm hoping that you can share a little bit about Turkish Philanthropy Funds' mission and model.
Turkish Philanthropy Funds is a community foundation in the United States. We work to serve the Turkish American community and communities that want to give back to Turkey. We create partnerships that address a wide range of social and environmental needs, including disaster relief, both in Turkey and also in the United States.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And it's an organization that's been around for years and serving the Turkish community, both internationally and then also domestically. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention that you are a 4-star rated charity on Charity Navigator, which is the highest possible rating. Now, with everything that I'm seeing in the news and after connecting with some other organizations that are responding, I mean, there's so much need. How is Turkish Philanthropy Funds and your partners, how are they responding to the immediate and long-term needs?
Yeah, the earthquake is a big disaster that we have never seen really or imagined seeing. Turkey is an earthquake area, so we always talk about earthquakes and talk about getting ready, but this was unimaginable, huge. 14 people are impacted, and the death toll now is at 40,000. Since the impacted area is spread out to 10 cities, the need is enormous. Currently, emergency and relief efforts are going hand in hand. Our funds to date have gone to emergency response, including search and rescue efforts, medical aid, providing emergency shelter to those affected. Also, we have provided food, water, and basic supplies to help people slowly maybe start to rebuild their lives. We're also right now focusing on helping to find temporary housing for people who lost their homes. They're moving to other cities all around the country. And in addition, we're also working with some partners to provide psychosocial and mental health support to survivors. And in addition, we are also working with educational institutions whose students have been impacted, and we are working with them to provide cash assistance so people can have some cash in hand right away to get going. Just want to make sure to communicate the message that while we're focused on immediate relief efforts, which is very important, we're also thinking of and keeping in mind longer term recovery efforts. This region holds the youngest population in Turkey. And for example, many of these children lost both parents. We hear that the number is in the thousands. We also know that at least 400 children lost one or more limbs and had to be amputated. So there is and will be a need for rehabilitation and psychosocial support also in the future. So we're trying to make sure that we pose to answer what our partners and earthquake survivors will also need in the long term. So we're in conversation with different partners on the ground to assess the need while keeping in mind that recovery and rebuilding also require different resources than what we might be envisioning right now.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for walking through that. Unfortunately, that is the truth, is that these disasters, they hit kind of a national media cycle, an international media cycle. They capture the hearts and minds of people, and people open up their hearts and open their wallets and make contributions. And it's a beautiful thing, but it really is truly long-term ramifications of these types of things. We've seen that obviously in Haiti and other parts of the world where we've had them ravaged by by earthquakes. So I appreciate you drawing, a spotlight to that. Now, when you look at your partnerships, because it sounded like that there's so much power there, the partnerships, how did you historically develop those, and how are you leveraging those now, and how are they evolving?
I believe that's the uniqueness and power of Turkish Philanthropy Funds. This is our 16 years, and over the years, we have built really strong relationships with our partners in Turkey. These are all vetted NGOs, and we do our work through them. Our approach is that, especially during relief and recovery efforts, they need to be locally led. So that's what we do. Or the organizations that we partner with go through a rigorous eligibility process, and once they're vetted, we share their information with our donor community and work with them to understand the need, what are the solutions, how we can provide a path forward. So that's our approach. And currently we're in direct communication with these organizations who are doing the work on the ground. So we receive real-time information on what's happening, who's doing what is the best way to move forward. And with that in mind, we make our grant decisions to support those who are doing the most important work on the ground.
Absolutely. And thankfully, you've been there for, like you said, many years and have had those relationships. So you were able to quickly respond and essentially maybe provide the programs that you've historically been providing, and then go above and beyond and providing the relief and recovery for the immediate needs. And for those of you that are watching, I definitely encourage you to go check out Turkish Philanthropy Funds, both on Charity Navigator on their site. One of the things that really spoke to me was your open transparency, and including all of your reports and your roadmap, your annual financials. And so really appreciate your commitment to accountability and transparency. Now, Senay, as we wind things down, I'm curious as to, for donors that are watching right now, what type of message of hope and encouragement would you provide to them?
This is a big earthquake, but what makes it easier is the response we have received from the community in the United States. We have been receiving a lot of wonderful messages in addition to contributions. So feeling that support makes the difference. I'd like to note that 100% of donations to our earthquake fund go directly to local vetted NGOs. That's our promise and commitment as TPF. So as I said, the path to recovery and rebuilding is pretty long. So any additional support and contribution to our fund will really go a long way.
Fantastic. And that's something that I speak about when, I'm talking about smart giving in times of crisis, is to look for those restricted funds where it's not a matter of that your donation is just going to be used for general operating expenses, that it's going to definitely go where you want it to. So Senay, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing and taking time to be able to connect with me and get the message out there.
Great. Thank you so much, Kevin, for having me.
Of course.